All right, so we're working on a 2015 Yamaha Viking. This is the 6-seater. We are replacing CV joint. So I'm gonna show you how to remove the old one and put on the new one. This is one that I got for the other side. I installed it, fit great, and it was pretty easy on the budget. First thing you have to do is remove the tire. If you've got a spacer, I've got a spacer here. You have to remove that as well. And then you're ready to kind of get into the meat of this thing. One thing that's very difficult is getting on the large bolt, getting off the large bolt on the main axle. Take a look at that now and I'll show you what we're looking at here. Right here, you've got your main axle bolt here that has to come off. It is really difficult to come off. I've been working on it. I had the breaker bar going. This is a 32 millimeter. It's really, really difficult. It was a pain on the other one as well. But I tried a little WD-40, let that sit for a little bit, right in this crease here, and then right in here. That worked really well. I was able to get it with the breaker bar and then my floor jack handle. So that worked, and that came off. The other thing you have to do here is when you're trying to get it off for the first time, there would be a little bit of metal indented. And so right here you can see where it's kind of indented, and you can use a chisel and just kind of work that a little bit softly, kind of open that back up to a perfect circle. Once you've got this off and this, you're gonna set those aside, and this is ready to come off. But we have to remove this bolt right here. So for this, I got a 3/4 on this side, just kind of hold it in place. And then I've got an 11/16 back here. Just kind of hold these in place. And this comes off really easy, pretty easy to get off. The one thing I like to have is my floor jack ready down below so that I can raise it or lower it as needed. Putting it on or taking it off isn't as hard. You can just kind of lift it up a little bit, but then it's gonna drop. So it'll kind of drop a little bit. So when you put this bolt back in, the floor jack down below is really good to have. This should come down. This will come forward. Now as you pull on this, this down here, the axle is going to come out. So now that I have the brake fluid unhooked, that helped a lot. I just kind of wedged it up here, and I'm gonna throw like a cloth on it, kind of tuck it away so it's out of the way. And then this just comes easily down, pretty easy. So when you're taking this off, best way to get this axle out is to pull it from the main shaft here and then pull it towards you. Now when I was doing this on the other side, it was a little difficult, and I found a cool little trick that I'm going to show you now. One thing I've done on the other side, and it worked really well, I just got a nice big flathead. I just put it in between the axle and the CV joint, and I just kind of create a little bit of space, and that works really well. So it just gives you a little bit of head start as you're starting to pull on it. And so yeah, that's what you can kind of do, and you can see here what I've done. And it just kind of pulls it just a little bit, then it's ready to be pulled out. Okay, so now that we've given that a bit of a head start, it'll come out pretty easy, and you just have to kind of work around this piece here. So you can like bend it, pull. It's a little tricky, a little awkward. I'm not a total expert at it. Just kind of pull. It's getting farther and farther out. Whew. Nice little CrossFit workout here. Ah, man. There we go. All right. Now, rear differential oil is gonna drip out. You can see if you look right in here. So try to have something to catch that, which I didn't have in place. That's okay. We all make mistakes. You always want to make sure that you do have more rear differential oil. So I go with the GL3 SAE 80W90. So that is what works for the Yamaha Viking. All right, let's get this put back together. When you have your new CV joint, you're gonna line up the splines that go back in here. And it takes a couple times, or if you're like me, you get it done on the first time. Slide all the way in, and then come down here. We're going to put this back together. That makes a nice good angle. All the way in and forward. Okay. Oh. And it just takes a little bit of twisting and again, sometimes I do some things right, sometimes it takes me a couple tries. What do we got going on here? So these splines also have to be lined up. Okay, here we go. And they are lined up. And that comes through. Now this is the part where it's really nice to have a floor jack. Whew. Broke a little sweat there. Now, here's what happens is you'll look at this piece right here. Lift up your floor jack. Just slowly comes up. And it just gives you a little bit of ease to put this back into place. So now we're gonna grab our bolt here and we're just gonna feel and see if that's in a good place. The elevation's good. I just had to push it in a little bit. And we're good there. All right. It's looking awesome. And I just cut my hand on this guy. A little sharp. That comes all the way through. And we are putting this baby back together. Okay. And with this floor jack, it makes it so much easier to get this little piece back in place. So definitely recommend it. Put the machine on some jack stands and you'll be set to go. We also want to put our brake fluid back on. Get that nice and all set up. So yeah, CV joints on, looking good. Feeling good. You want to make sure you put the washer back on. So got the washer here. We're going to put our bolt back together and get this baby looking good, feeling good. All right. I'm not going to hand tighten that with my bare hands, although I'm flattered if you thought I could. Sorry, that's a lame joke. Tighten this up. And this breaker bar has been a lifesaver. Used it on a lot of projects. Make sure to get one. They're phenomenal. They're the really the best thing you can have for tough projects. When you're back here, you're gonna look for this guy and loosen that one up. And the size on that guy is a 9/16. So you're gonna open this up. And since we lost fluid, we wanna replenish that of the rear diff oil. We're gonna open that up. There you go. See my sweet little cut there? Have that be a warning to you to not get cut on that crazy blade there. And then we got our tube. You know what? I'm just gonna put the bottle directly in there. It actually, if you come from behind here, come from up above and then down, that will actually fit. And you fill this and you're gonna replenish what you just lost. And we lost quite a bit. I should have captured it. Well, I wouldn't have reused it or anything. I just been nice to know how much we did lose. And then usually fill this till it's full. And as I've watched other guys do it, it'll kind of come out a little bit and you know you have enough. I'm right next to the exhaust and a couple things that are super hot right above me. You want to make sure your machine is absolutely cooled off. Do not drive this thing. Everything around here is way too hot to be messing with. I'm in the garage. It's a pretty cold fall night, so I'm good, but don't be thinking you're gonna be messing around here, you know, right after you drove this thing. Cool, safety moment, good. Get that tightened. And you have your rear diff replenished. All right, now this is all put back together. I got my spacer back on here. Things are looking good. Get your tire back on, get back out there, and go have some fun. Well, that is how to switch out CV joint on your Yamaha Viking. It's kind of a cool job. It's something that may feel intimidating, but I'm probably like a intermediate type mechanic. I don't know everything, but I'm willing to learn and try new things. And this is a project I was able to do. Hopefully you can too. Be safe. Try to have someone with you. If you're not comfortable, stop, walk away, ask a question. Don't get in a rush. And yeah, have fun. Hopefully you're enjoying your Yamaha Viking. I know I am.